Ziggs here.
Yeah, so what T1 are doing, they're saying, okay, you can get Rumble, but we're going to get Ziggs. And essentially, it's a trade, right? You take away Maokai, another really strong pick, and you say, we want to get one of these tippy top-tier picks as well. But
so I think that's not as bad if Jin's not available, but if you end up trading Ziggs for Jin, I don't think you're going to be feeling too bad about that, and I imagine Perfect's going to feel much better with this than what he had last time around.
Rumble Jin also such a strong combo. The buy has been left open though, so there's that in return, but the thing with Jin is you can actually operate at such a long distance away from any fights with the ultimate. If Rumble drops his equalizer on top of Ziggs and you just open up with the curtain call, very hard for T1 to mitigate that. Now the Skarner's going to come through. Obviously we saw last game the power can have.
Oh.
Not going for the Jin. A bit interesting.
His Jin is so good, we saw it yesterday.
Like, I understand, like, these 3 picks make sense. I understand why they want to get them, but you're not getting Jin now. And I think that was a part of the reason we were like, okay, this makes sense. This trade is okay. Rumble Jin for Ziggs, but now they'll obviously have missed out on that. I'd expect a mid lane pick here for T1 to match up into BDD, but apparently not. They think there's enough available for Faker, or at least the priority list has dropped. So instead, maybe aware that it's lost so many times in a row and like, no, T1, you can pick Corki. You're fine to do it. But instead, looking in a different direction, I feel like they need AD with his composition, and that means it's going to be the NASUS.
Of course,
I think T1 fans holding their breath as they saw the 10 lost streak Corki hovered there.
This is very, I mean, on paper, it looks like we definitely get that mid into the Yone, and then the Ornn is in the top side with the lane swaps and everything. So just waiting on a support counter pick here for Carriot on the side of T1.
I'm just saying, Janna goes really hard here if this row gets locked in, okay? I don't think it's what we're getting. I think what we're getting is Alistar. But I think it'd be cool. The interesting thing for me, though, is that T1's composition, this NASUS, feels kind of weird when you have Vi Ziggs already, right? Vi Ziggs kind of signals that you want to go in aggressively, you want to try and blow up targets in a second. I think the Ornn can do that to a certain extent, but with the NASUS added as well, it gets a little weird. Devs can now also go for the poke build, meaning that you have a lot of effective range added to this composition when you get to the mid to late stages.
I also think she does pretty hard to itemize against Kai'Sa, pretty good at cutting through bulk, and there is a lot of bulk on the side of T1. Plus, if you take out the Ziggs, it's just frontline left. So I think KT definitely have a game plan to kill Guma and then just cut through the rest, especially if Yone, if BDD has a good game, if he gets ahead, a lot of the targets just aren't able to get a cut through his sustain, and then the Bard comes through for Carrier. I'm not really a big fan of Bard here. I think Bard is best utilized when you're playing into a mobile carries. You can set up an ult on them. Obviously, there's other value in his roam potential. But there's so much dive threat here. Like, as a Bard, if you're roaming around, they will just look to kill you, and it's not going to be that difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of peel outside of, like, self-peel from the Ziggs. You could definitely see the Alistar. That was kind of our expected pick. That would offer you that very common into the realm. See what we saw in Game 1 at the beginning of that one. Let's jump onto the rift for Game 2.
You can really feel, I don't want to call it desperation, but the raw emotion.
The desperation.
Of both teams wanting to make it to World so badly.
It's only one slot. And DK were able to get in ahead of T1. A lot of people expecting T1 to win that series. It did not happen. We win 5 games. DK took it down. And so we have the telecom war for one spot. And only one of Faker or Deft can get the most World's attendance award at 9. Both of them on 8 currently. But if you win tonight, you get that number 9 for those individual players. As KT is looking to invade here and set up their the top side, although Beryl is down on the bottom side of the map at the moment, so we'll see where they go with this.
Yeah, I guess maybe concerned about playing into the double ranged as ranged melee.
Oh, Keria got one. Also
Forced the smite.
Forced the smite, yeah. And now Barrel's just 1v1ing a Ziggs with Ignite. And, I mean, Guma, Ziggs, level 1 is not very strong. And here comes Barrel again. That's another jump forward, although now with the wave coming in, Barrel is going to back away. See if he can do so. Pioshik, yeah, he's just level 3. He's coming in behind Faker, as they do know that the Skarner is here. And now Faker going to be knocked towards the wall. He does dodge the knock up here. He goes for the ghost, but he's basically just running in circles, waiting for Owner to come on over, who is going to bail him out. But now a bit of damage into Owner as well. The Unbind comes in and forces the flash from Owner. The flash on in for BDD, and he gets first blood just like that.
And this is a bleed out from mid going behind. The wave bounce back. Faker pushes up. Pioshik, he gets denied the Raptors, so he goes, well, what else can I do but gank mid?
The fact that Owner, I think, could have flashed a lot earlier here and denied a lot of the Skarner damage.
Got him.
Could have probably kept him alive.
I'm just questioning, because surely they knew that Pioshik was there. I think Faker should have just...
Faker also, because he was playing into Yone, actually going for 3 points in Q, not in E, so he doesn't have as much wave crush you normally do. And we have cloth armor for Faker and mantle for Zeus, so that means that both BDD and Perfect are playing into an opponent that's itemized for the opposite damage source. And KT looking completely revitalized here early on in the second game.
Yeah, this is a horrible scenario for the NASUS.
Yeah, a little bit of a trap. I mean, Barrel's here as well, and could try to go for it, though. The flash on in, the Ornhorn going to be blown here as well. Perfect, not even bothering to flash, and it's going to bite him back, as that is the kill. Owner comes in and just way too much CC, more than Perfect was expecting.
Just flash it. You know, I don't think there's a reason to risk it in that situation and see if you can survive, especially the follow-up coming in, the satchel.
Trying to go in his Zeus, but pretty difficult to do that on the Kai'Sa.
Also saw Perfect there at the beginning when that initial crash from Faker came through, really just hiding between the two turrets. Afraid that he was going to get dove again. Not going to be the case. T1 instead looking for the cross map. We'll be able to pick up the second dragon here. A lot of less impactful souls still on the map. We'll see which rift we are going to get. And it's Cloud, which there's a lot of members that I think use the Cloud Rift really well here on either side.
Yeah, I honestly don't think Cloud is that bad. Obviously, something like a Hex deck is the ideal, but particularly the NASUS benefits a lot from that movement speed at close distance.
Trying to clear the wave here. He's got Keria to just stasis everything up there, and this is an Ornn as the Impale will come in, but the stun is there from Keria, and the knockup from the Ornn, but Death, he lives just barely, and eventually does go down to Keria's auto. Barrel as well is going to bite the dust eventually, as Faker comes in, just collects a kill. Not half bad at the end of the day, as T1 take the gold lead.
Yeah, really well played by Keria there to stall that out, to find the play turnaround. Not sure exactly what happened in ended
up costing Owner his flash, and they don't actually end up getting the kill. As we
hard dive.
Yeah, the flash from Perfect there on the Q to ensure that he's fine. But this TP actually ends up being huge because it means that BDD then can't TP to the top half of the map and ends up being a trade 1-for-1, but very, very weak, but already reinforcements on the way here for T1.
Yeah, and I mean the setup here from the side of T1, especially because Pioshik is just
dead. He's just
alone
dead.
Farming in the jungle. I mean, he's Skarner, he can go through walls. Surely he's dead.
Yeah, he's going through walls towards T1's base.
Yeah, only question is who gets the kill. It will be the buy. Just net gold pretty well, as you mentioned before, Chronicler, and yeah, that's just a straight-up mistake, and it feels like, you know, KT, they had a very good start to this game. As
a possible source of pressure come mid-game, but that does require a good amount of finesse, which does for our KT have, I think, definitely been lacking. Perfect. Maybe looking for a back and then TPing back in. That's clearing this mid-wave, which does give T1 the space. Zeus on the flank has his ultimate available.
It's about to get very interesting. Let's see, BDD looking for the knockup, and now the Ornhorn's going to be called. Nice little angle, but a big engage from Barrel into the equalizer, and Impale, it's just a massive wobble that comes in. T1 are trying to turn something. They do get the one kill, and a massive Bartles as well. But at the end of the day, do they have to follow up damage to kill any of these low health members is the question. Guma trying his best to do exactly that, but he can't get the one kill. Keria's going to go down, and BDD is still alive. And it's Guma Usier bus, but he is gone as KT win a gigantic team fight.
That's the Wombo combo dream right there as Barrel sets it up, Yoshik knocks it down, and that Rumble pick toasting the entirety of T1.
Holds them still, rakes them over the coals, and KT get the ace, was still a bit scrappy. I think a big thing was the fact that BDD and Depth couldn't immediately follow up on the targets. But the job gets done, a big swing in favor of KT off the back.
Yeah, I mean, T1 are going to start this one up, and they're, you know, still in a pretty decent spot to try to start it, but the issue is that KT, the massive gold influx that they got from that last fight is pretty huge, and, you know, BDD's teleport, I think, at this point in time is going to be much more impactful than Faker's teleport, so a good lane here for BDD, but also a better guy who will be joining the fight if one does break out around this Cloud Drake.
Faker also can't cancel BDD's TP, but BDD can cancel Faker's, right? So if BDD decides to teleport in, there isn't really a whole lot that Faker can do besides try to damage him as much as possible, as Barrel does not care about your measly turret. They will just slam this down, kind of trade that for the bot side outer. And this is again just continued setup. BDD does now finish his Noon Quiver, and it looks like both teams
just end up giving over Soul Point if they don't move quickly. It's already half HP. It is a Skarner can get over walls though.
They're going to get the ults from Keria in there, and yeah, the Skarner goes in, and it just goes over to Pyosik, and they do have this magical journey. Barrel trying to follow, but he just says, no, it's not worth it. We got the Drake. We don't need the kill. We're already ahead, and we will deny the Cloud Soul point from T1.
So there are two big summoners. This match, though, definitely a lot more what I think we were expecting coming into the day. As a reminder, there is no more LCK after this. This is the final fight between these two teams. Whoever wins this best of 5 goes to Worlds. For the loser, it's over as BDD. He's going deep.
Yeah, just doing Yone things, and the Ziggs does not very much like that or appreciate it.
He didn't hit so much.
Yeah.
He just got in range, and that's enough.
And he just auto-attacks him.
He's not going to be the type of jungler that can just easily keep tanking these Ws. Obviously, both Zeus and Keria, once he finishes Warmux, will be fine. But still, hitting enough of those onto people like Guma or Owner in the long run is going to be something that KT can rely on to type of setup for these dives, right? Like 1 or 2 Ws alone could be enough.
Okay, that is a big committal, but it's a Keria ult to deny all the damage, and now T1 are perfectly set up for the Wombo combo once again. Equalizer comes down. It's a perfect angle from Perfect, and T1 are burnt to a crisp as KT will win the fight and will take the Baron.
The anti-synergy on display. Keria goes for the flashy play and then blocks his entire team's damage and hands the Baron straight over to KT. What a misplay. What an unforced error from T1.
You gotta imagine if T1 is able to go up 2-0 here, get a win after a Perfect didn't actually get the toaster oven ready this time around, right? And still, they now have enough damage just between BD and Def that the CC combo of Barrel and Pyosik ends up being absolutely huge. And of course, T1 heavily over-investing is not gonna get in, but they get the turret, and that's the main goal.
Yeah. I mean, with the Baron just trying to really escalate your gold lead, and now trying to flash on a guy who's invisible, and Owner has to go in. Bit of damage to Ziggs over the top, and they finally do get Perfect. It's a trade 1-for-1, but Faker is probably going to go down. This is a pretty decent Bard ult, but it's only going to delay the inevitable as Faker, super low, he's in the back line, gets ulted on, down he will go. It's a triple for Deft, who's just running around the fight.
KT were just warming up in Game 1. We saw in this series against BNK Fearex yesterday that Game 1 was a slow one, not the best performance, but they have ramped up and they are here to contest for that world spot.
KT, this team, very often a complete enigma. What do you get on the day? Isn't an opportunity for Owner. And yeah, eventually they get the turn on the Perfect, but...
Well, this is just insult to injury. Guma doesn't have flash, and I think eventually should die. There you go. Pyosik just gonna bop him on the head with a claw. And it's just a caught Ziggs trying to satchel over a wall, but you're not getting away from Skarner and Yone. Pretty difficult.
They're continuing this push on the top side, but I don't think you get too much progress with just that wave.
And over the last couple of years, it's important to note as well that now that the Kai'Sa is online, it's He's getting bonked on the head.
Yeah, Def just is in melee range against a big NASUS who isn't very fed, but actually it's just a bait all along. As Faker's running the other way. There's a Bard ult. Faker's like, I need more stacks. Hold on. Not the best timing there, and now this fight is very broken up. That's a double impale, and both of these guys are just dead. As is just caught in the crossfire. He's going to be going down as well. KT just crossing their eyes, crossing their T's, dotting their I's rather. As Faker is still just holding the wave, trying to keep the game alive.
He's just building stacks, right? It's what NASUS does.
Still farming.
Yeah,
eventually he'll get there.
Barrel's going to win this 1v1. Unfortunately, BDD on the way as well.
I mean, I guess he held the wave, but...
Yeah, BDD even QSS is the wither, so... he just need to hit a Q at some point.
Dodge everything! Nah, he's trying his best. I mean, the NASUS can be pretty funky like this. The ult will be committed to as BDD has had enough, and they do take him down.
Yeah, surprise Scorpion showing up at the end there, but as I was saying, if you go back...
But he was the only one in game one, so now he's got a team behind him, and KT, 10,000 gold ahead almost, are looking for their second Baron.
All they got to do is turn. Just don't flip, don't risk giving it over. As long as Owner isn't allowed near the pit, does a flash and ult.
Well, they're trying to keep him out of the pit, and there is the turn. A lot of wombo combo bouncy castle behind the wall there.
Dead.
Yeah, BDD goes down, and Baker's pretty tanky. A big impale, but Pyosik getting low. I think the wallets might just be a bit too heavy, though. A pretty decent fight, all things considered, but the wallets are there for the side of KT. Extremely messy, and T1 will deny the Baron for now.
It's not clean, but it's KT. Everything's fine. They have enough threats.
Ooh.
That almost gets the kill there. Going to be setting up for Soul Point here. And again, I think a bit of a messy fight's not the end of the world. As long as you don't give over the Baron and the bounty and allow T1 to really stay in the game for another 5 minutes.
What you'll see, but just the fact that they're slowly stacking up Cloud Drakes and they might even get Cloud Soul, it's just more damage avoidance from them.
You think of a BDD stepping out up the...
Oh, okay. The Zanya's going to have some big value there as BDD finds Guma, and you see the Ornn is desperate to try to save him, but he will go down anyway, and BDD will survive. The wallets are just gigantic right now on the side of KT. They take down the 2 carries, and that might just do it. KT ROLSTER looking for their first win in the series. Isaiah is desperate to just try to stop the wave from going down, but the TP will come in. And it's only Keria as Steph 1 kill away from Legendary, I believe, here, as they will look to push to end and win game 2.
And this best of 5 after game 1 looked a little dicey, but KT bounced back in a big way. And the Telecom war continues for this final world spot as the Nexus falls here in game number 2.
The Nexus will fall, and we do, in fact, have a series on our hands. Anyone can take it from here as KT have decided